Scott Burns, when did you first hear about the story of Donald Crowhurst?
I saw the documentary Deepwater 8 or 9 years ago, I think now, in LA. And I walked out of the theater just staggered and confused and intrigued. And I think I called my agents and said, I really want to write about this character. And I'm incredibly grateful that I was given an opportunity.
And did you struggle at all to create sympathy for this character who left his family and risked his life in order to embark on a race which he probably was never going to complete? Did you manage to find it?
Well, that was sort of the challenge of this for all of us. And yet, I think what I connected with metaphorically when I saw the movie is, oh my God, aren't we all kind of doing that? And don't we all, make judgments that are confusing? And I very much could relate to the idea of deciding to try and do something remarkable. When I made that decision, I had been working in advertising for most of my adult life. And I thought, I really want to write movies. I want to make something more artistic than an advertisement, even though I have a lot of respect for people who do that. And so I understood the desire to take a risk. And I think we all understand making mistakes, and then how do you manage the shame? Metaphorically, how do you come home after you've made a mistake? And that's part of everybody's experience, and I wanted to tell that story.
As we see in the latter half of the film, we see Donald's mind start to deteriorate because he's being alone at sea for months on end. Do you think these moments of mental distress are close to what actually happened on the boat?
I only know what I read. Strangely, both of my parents are psychologists, and so I've always had an interest in how minds break and how they heal. And the pressure of being alone in a boat is horrible to contemplate. Being alone in a boat with a lie for company is something that, I hope I conveyed well. But clearly people who have issues, whether it's depression or things that are more, significant than that, although depression is hugely significant, these are triggers. And so, even if you went out there perfectly healthy, I think being alone in a boat for 6 months would make the best of us, pretty uncomfortable.
And did you consult his logbooks at all that he made during the trip?
Yeah, I did, and the documentary filmmakers were kind enough to, share a lot of their archival material, including some of the tapes that he made for the BBC, and it was really helpful for me to hear his voice. And Donald Crowhurst is an extraordinary writer. If you listen to those tapes, he had a gift for language.
The press agent, played by David Thewlis, he also had a hand in faking reports whilst Donald was at sea.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, not to get too political, but I was wondering if it was inspired at all by the fake news culture that we're currently suffering through.
Well, I would be lying if I said that it didn't. I think that, a part of one of the themes that we were all conscious of is the role of the media. Early on when he says, I need your help to feed the beast, we were all conscious that that was an invitation for people to realize that, he wanted to be famous. But Rodney also really needed him to be famous. And, notoriety has a lot of different flavors, as we all know. And I feel like that period of history in the late 60s and our fascination with fame, both heroic fame and prurient fame, really began taking a hold of the culture, and it's only escalated since then.
Brilliant. Well, that's all I have time for. So thank you very much for meeting with me.
Sure.